What's up, guys? It's a beautiful Tuesday, late morning here in Siem Reap. The trend of cooler weather continues. Got a nice little breeze going on, but it's not too cold. I do like kind of rubbing it into people back home that I'm suffering here with 60-degree Fahrenheit weather and they're butt deep in snow. And I know for some people it's not because they want that, it's just because they can't go anywhere right now because of everything that's happening. But still, someone had a question about they wanted to get my take, my opinion on why more people don't buy or rent houses here and stick to apartments mainly, considering how it's really a buyer's market right now with the prices. Everybody has pandemic specials going on, and prices have been dropping for a while now. But I think, and this is just my opinion, I don't know anything about the real estate market here, but I'll give you my opinion. First of all, I think there are a lot more apartments for rent than there are houses for rent. There are houses for rent and for sale, but typically a house is going to be double the price of an apartment, and you're basically just paying for, a bigger space. And since people come over here for the cost of living is a big part of the reason why people come here. They don't want to come over here and spend double the amount that they could if they just rented an apartment. Especially if you're single, you can get a one-bedroom apartment. Even if you want to go fancy and get a separate bedroom and all kinds of amenities. You can get that for $300 or less. A house rental might be $500-$600. Also, I think because you'll pay for your own electric no matter where you live, having a bigger house and trying to keep it cool with aircon in the hotter months could add another $150-$200 just for that, for like a house. Whereas an apartment, you might be able to get away with that for like $50, even if you run it all the time. Plus, if you're renting a house, generally you have to get your own Wi-Fi, which is included in most apartments. You have to pay for your own garbage service, which is included in most apartments, and you'll have to pay for your water. And of course, that's usually included in most apartments. Not always, but most of the time. Now, it is possible to find a smaller house for rent for about the same price as a bigger apartment. But those are very few and far between. And even if you're coming here long term, you want to buy a house, there are restrictions on that for foreigners. If it's a condo or a duplex or something, you can put it in your own name. If it's a separate house, you would have to put it in the name of a local person. So even though you might pay for it and you might say, hey, I own it, you'll never actually own it in name on legal documents. So I think that stops a lot of people from pursuing that. And I do have a friend, she is buying a house. She is putting it in the name of her adopted Khmer son. And you know, I've seen houses here go for $32,000, $33,000, which is a really good price. But even if you're paying cash, there are still other factors involved. You'll still have to go through like a lawyer. You have to get a lawyer. You have to get the documents made up. Everybody has their hand out. They all want a little piece of that that money. And from what she's told me, I have no first-hand experience, but from what she's told me, and she's a very reliable person, it's just like it takes a long time. There's meetings you have to go to, several meetings with real estate companies and with the owners and with lawyers, and there's always all these little extra things you have to pay for. So I mean, even if you found a house for, let's say, $32,000 and you had the cash and the owner had the hard title, you would still have to go through all that in order to legally put it in someone else's name. So I think most people get apartments because it's convenient. Most of the extra things, like I said, Wi-Fi and water, trash collection, those are all included in the rental. And it's a very no-nonsense process. Very, very easy. You come here, you find an apartment you want, you give them the first month's rent, sometimes a deposit also, and then you just move in. You don't have to worry about credit checks or transferring money from your home account to somebody's bank account over here like you would if you bought a house, incurring all those extra fees. So I think it's the price point, the convenience, and the lack of any kind of third parties being involved in the transaction. And that's my opinion. Everybody has their own thing over here. You know, I guess a lot of it will depend on several factors for you. If you are one of those who wants to come over here and maybe purchase a house. I mean, if you have a family, it might be the better way to go. The hassle might be worth it to you. Like if it's you and your spouse, and let's say you have a couple kids, well, you don't all want to be hanging out in a one-bedroom apartment. That'll be a little cramped. Wouldn't be too comfortable. And like I said, there are apartments everywhere. Right now I'm looking around. Apartments over there. Apartments over there. They're way on top there. See that little peak? Yeah, in the back of that place is an apartment. Apartments up here. Right up there. And that's just all within the same little area on the street. And plus, there's a lot of people that aren't coming over here long term. They're only coming over here, they know, for a year or maybe two, and then they're going to go somewhere else or go back home. So, really no sense in getting involved in the real estate situation here. So like I said, that's my opinion. And like everything else, I'm sure it's not, it doesn't always involve a big hassle or anything like that. But for the most part, somebody who is doing it that I talk to, just a long process filled with a bunch of red tape and all these extra little charges that everybody wants, while they're claiming to be helping you along the way. Yeah, I'll talk to you guys later. Alright, now time to give you some details on my next project I've been talking about. While we sit here and watch this construction going on. That's a big pile of dirt there. It's huge. I am documenting all of it, and I'll be putting together some videos in a separate playlist once it's all said and done. But my idea was to have a stand-up comedy night here in Siem Reap at a venue, maybe once a week. And my pitch was this, you know, hey, we can advertise it for you. You can advertise it. It's once a week, maybe a couple hours, to give everybody that wants to do this enough time to get their sets in. And hey, people come and see it. They buy food and beverages from you while they're enjoying the show. And you don't have to pay us anything. We're just doing this for fun. And maybe some people, they've done it before and they miss it. Maybe some people have never done it before and they want to try it out. Kind of like an open mic night. I've already put the first ad in one of the Facebook groups, and it's garnered 86 comments. I have 4 or 5 people that messaged me and said they're definitely interested in trying it. Some of them have experience, most of us don't. And my only requirements is that, hey, even if you've never done it before, if you can put together a tight 10-minute set, you know, set up, punchline, tag, set up, or whatever you do, impressions, you know, go up there and tell a funny story, whatever you want to do. I'm not going to turn anybody down because just because they've never done it before. And I was contacted by the owner of a rather good establishment here. I don't want to say the name until I actually have the meeting with the guy, but so now we're just trying to all decide on everybody that's interested that wants to do it. We want to meet with the owner at his establishment, and he wants to talk a little more about all the details, so we can all decide together what night we want to do it, how much time we'll need, which is going to depend on how many people are involved. But even if we've only got 5 people and they all do 10-minute sets, that's less than an hour. But it will be open mic, so after the comedy is done, perhaps people want to do other things. We'll just throw the mic open or whatever. Something I've always been interested in. And even though I've never stood up in front of people and gave them my sets and talked, you know, actually did stand up. Before I even left for Cambodia, I always had a habit of writing down, like when I was at work back home, and we had some downtime, I would just sit there and work on little jokes and little things that I found amusing. Just kind of jot them down as ideas. different keywords, so that I could remember what I was, my train of thought when I was thinking of it. And then I would always hone those into little bits. You know, I would add all the details, all the tags, all the other stuff to make it as funny as it could be, as far as I was concerned. I've never, whether it's in a book or something like this, I've never done anything like that for anybody except myself. Things I found amusing at the time, things I found funny at the time. So yeah, I have a pretty good amount of bits that I can put together and arrange into a good 10-minute set. And like I said, I'm documenting all of it. You guys will be able to see my very first time I ever do stand-up, which may turn out to be the very last time I ever do stand-up, so you might get a bonus if everybody hates it. Of course, all my supporters will be getting these videos first, and then I'll put all the videos together into one big long one. And once that first night is all said and done, and after we meet with everybody, after we decide the night and the time, and after we do the first set, I'll be videotaping everybody's set so they can look it over if they want, critique themselves, and figure out what made people laugh and what kind of didn't land right. But I'll be putting all that together in one video later for this channel. But I wanted to give all my supporters a chance to be able to see it all first. So hopefully we're going to meet sometime this week with the owner of the establishment and some of the people that also want to be involved. And I'll be sending that to you when that happens. I'm hoping for at least within the next couple or 3 days. That's the biggest hurdle. When I first mentioned this, I said the biggest hurdle was trying to get a bunch of people together to agree on something. That's always a hassle. Right now we just got to find out when's the best time for everybody and figure it out from there. So that's what's going on. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Be sure to check out all my links down below if you want to help support free education in Cambodia and the work we do out in the village, bringing food to them. We try to at least once a week, and we go out there and do special cookouts, and we bring food and stuff for the kids. We only do that with your donations. There are links down below to my PayPal, Patreon, buymeacoffee.com/DDC. You'll be put on my mailing list to receive exclusive videos, first look videos, and more. And I will also send you a copy of my book, Live in Cambodia, a guide for living in the Kingdom of Wonder, as a way of saying thank you. Also, there are links to that book and my other ones down below. If you don't want to donate directly to me, you can purchase those books separately. All my social media is down below, and as always, I encourage you to check out the other channels that are vlogging in Cambodia from the list down below. Really good stuff coming from these channels. Some of them you might like, some of them you might not, but they're all very interesting, and you should definitely at least check them out. And there's some random stuff down there, down below, if you want to check those out as well. All right. Time to go home and get ready for my class. And I'll talk to you guys in the next one.